the question, who's in? College Football Playoff Selection Committee will release its latest rankings tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. For more, let's bring in college football contributor Paul Finebaum. Paul, Alabama's loss in the Iron Bowl means there will be a new 5th-ranked team after tonight. Which team is in the best position to claim that spot, in your opinion?
It is Utah, and you can quibble between Utah and Oklahoma, but I think the committee is going Utah. They have a slightly better resume, and Jay, we're talking razor thin. Now, what they have to do is pretty obvious. Friday night, they have to beat Oregon, and that's not an easy task. But if Utah beats Oregon, most people believe that will trump Oklahoma over Baylor, assuming Oklahoma gets past Baylor, which is a very difficult game for them Saturday afternoon.
Okay, we'll see what happens. Hey, Paul, take a listen to what Dabo Swinney had to say after Clemson's win over South Carolina on Saturday. We'll talk afterwards.
It's huge from a national standpoint because obviously if we lose this game, I mean, they're going to kick us out. They don't want us in there anyway. We'd drop to 20, you know. I mean, Georgia loses to this very same team, and the very next day it's how do we keep Georgia in it? We win to the team that beat South Carolina, and it's how do we get Clemson out? It's the dadgummest thing, you know. They can't vote us out. We got to go 30-0. I mean, we ain't got no choice. We don't play nobody. All I can tell you is we're 10-1 versus the SEC in our last 11. And we've won 115 games this decade. So has Ohio State and so has Alabama. And we've played both of them. And our program is what people don't focus on.
Hey, Paul, what do you make of Coach's comments?
Not to quote Shakespeare, but methinks he doth protest too much. Listen, I get it. Georgia lost to South Carolina, Jay, and no one really seemed to care. But the difference is Georgia has some quality wins. I mean, Georgia has beaten Notre Dame and Auburn in Florida. Unfortunately for Dabo, he hasn't played anyone this year. He played a Texas A&M team which looked good at the time. They ended up losing 5 games. He played South Carolina, which was supposed to be pretty good. They were miserable at 4-8. So, and he nearly lost to North Carolina. So they have been living on the edge. For the last couple of years, they've lost a game and gotten away with it. He knows they couldn't, so he's just trying to fire his team up for the very exciting game against Virginia Saturday in Charlotte for the ACC Championship, and plenty of tickets still available.
See, Paul, you ain't right, man. 7:30 Eastern on the ABC. Paul Finebaum with us on SportsCenter. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Jay.
Well, the Louisville Cardinals are the new #1 in college basketball, so we do know that. University of Louisville has received 48 of the possible 64 first-place votes to become the 4th team to grace the top of the AP poll already this season. #1, Michigan State lost its season opener in the Champions Classic to Kentucky on Tuesday, November 5th. And after that loss, that moved Kentucky to the #1 ranking. But that wouldn't last long. Exactly 1 week after their win over Michigan State, the Wildcats are stunned by Evansville and as 25-point favorites. And then, you know what happened a week ago? Duke was the next team at #1, but the Blue Devils epic upset at home to Stephen F. Austin, snapping a 150-game non-conference home winning streak. Happened at the buzzer in OT. What a game. Louisville, your new #1, and now it's Michigan getting a chance to pull off the upset tonight. They went from unranked to #4 in the poll after beating UNC and Gonzaga, making the largest jump from unranked in AP poll history. Michigan has the best resume in the nation, according to our strength of record metric. They already have 3 BPI top 50 wins and 2 top 10 wins. If Michigan can pull off another upset, it would become the 2nd team ever to be 3 top 10 teams away from home before Christmas. Who figures this stuff out? All right, this is the 21st annual Big Ten ACC Challenge. And tonight, our doubleheader starts in Louisville. But then ranked #1 Cardinals hosting #4 Michigan at 7:30. And then it's Trey Jones and #10 Duke looking to rebound, taking on Cassius Winston and #11 Michigan State from the Breslin Center in East Lansing. 2 great matchups right here on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Clear heart, clear mind, clear eyes. Let's go to work, man. Dalvin Cook says that way. We're going to answer right here for you. Let's go to work. And that's the way you answer. That a baby, Chris. Wilson's going to go deep, wide open, and into the hands of David Moore. And he inside the 10 and into the end zone.
win over the Vikings on Monday Night Football, the Seahawks vaulted into first place in the NFC West. They asserted their dominance at home, and they embellished Russell Wilson's record in primetime games while setting themselves up very nicely for the December run, with run being the operative word. The Hawks ran the ball, a critical component of all the best teams in the NFL this season, averaging 167 rushing yards per game during their 5-game winning streak. Here's Mark Schwartz with more from Seattle.
We're here for a reason. Let's go. Let's go, baby.
At 5'11", Russell Wilson will never be mistaken for Joel Embiid or Rudy Gobert.
But instead of knocking it down, he ends up having almost a volleyball tap pass.
But for his Seattle teammates, Wilson is a giant.
As long as he ain't panicking, we ain't panicking. We all good.
You know, whatever he sets his mind to, he's gonna get it done. And I've seen that many times. We saw it again tonight.
Wilson eats adversity for breakfast and turns Pro Bowl DBs into toast.
He's got David Moore wide open. Moore makes the catch. Touchdown! Seahawks!
He spent the summer improving his core strength, and now his deep balls are masterpieces.
He has a soft touch, man. That's what you really need. So put some air on it, give you a little bit, let you run under it. He always knows where it needs to be.
I mean, just growing up watching him do it, it was amazing. And then now just being right next to him is like even better. It's Russ for MVP, man. I'm all in for it.
Russell takes the shotgun snap, looks, tosses the little flare pass to Penny. He turns upfield. He's in! Touchdown! Seahawks!
Wilson has led the Hawks to a pair of Super Bowls and one championship, yet he has never garnered a single MVP vote.
Very shocking, I'll tell you that.
People sleeping, man. They're sleeping on him. So I think everyone's awake now. They see what he's capable of. I'm sure he'll get a few at least this year.
The MVP's great. You know, we're trying to win a Super Bowl and trying to get it done.
Wilson leads the league in touchdown passes. He's having his best season ever. And he says the Seahawks have everything they need to make history.
I think you got to have a clutch gene, and I think we have that as a team.
Not a single MVP vote ever.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, those back-to-back Super Bowls happened when he was young in the league, but still, wow.
Exactly.
I mean, where would they be without him? The Hawks improved to 26-9 in December and January games since drafting Wilson in 2012 in the 3rd round. That is the best mark in the NFL during that span. He has 70 touchdowns, 21 picks in his career. In December and January. Talk about clutch time.
Absolutely. Hannah still ahead.